guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new CR7 Nike MercurialX Proximo indoors in the Savage Beauty colorway. Now inside the box they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is black in color with black strings, features a white Nike swoosh on the front with a glittery black outline, and on the back of the bag you're going to find the CR7 logo right there at the bottom in white. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at what is the CR7 Savage Beauty colorway on a MercurialX Proximo, which essentially is an indoor version of the Superfly 4. So in today's video, we are of course going to take a closer look at the colorway. Even though it is similar to the Superfly 4, there are some small differences. We're going to take a look at the performance, we're going to take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as talk about how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more about this particular colorway of the MercurialX Proximo, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, they're selling out pretty quickly, but there are still some available. So if you want a pair, click the first link down below in the description of this video. That's going to take you to the review page on my website, where you will find buy it now links for these things at the $175 retail price, as long as they're still available. So again, if you want a pair, act quickly. First link down below in the description. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. So to start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, as you guys probably already know, this is a CR7 signature colorway. That's why it has the CR7 logo in metallic silver here on the lateral side, and also the reason why it has this very unique lava graphic across the entire upper. This represents an actual volcano, being that this shoe pays homage to Cristiano Ronaldo's place of birth, the volcanic island of Madeira. So that is kind of the reasoning behind the actual graphic itself. It gives the shoe a very, very interesting look. You can see it combines quite a few different colors. You have black as a base, of course. You have white in the Nike swooshes, silver in the CR7 branding, and then the graphic itself is a combination of blues, purples, oranges, yellows, reds. Really, really cool. You even have some kind of light gray in there as well. Now, obviously this is the same graphic or something that looks very similar to that of the actual Superfly 4, which is what I have right here. But side by side, as you guys can see, the graphic layout is the same, but the actual graphic itself seems to be more vibrant on the indoor version for whatever reason. You can see it's just a lot more dense in terms of the coloring. The purple here, the orange here, whereas the Superfly 4, as you guys can see, like I said, just isn't quite as vibrant. The color doesn't pop quite as much off of that black base, and that's throughout the entire upper, as you guys can see with the graphic there. It's just a little bit brighter on the indoor model. Again, no real explanation for why that is. It's just the case, which is why I'm showing it to you in this video. Everything else is pretty much the same though. You're going to find that the laces, the top of the foot, the collar, all solid black in color. The mid layer of the collar is that bright orange color. Same thing across the top of the foot, as you guys can see when it stretches out. The white on the actual Nike swoosh is kind of like a metallic pearl white, so it does have kind of a bit of sparkle and shine to it, which is really, really nice. Same thing with the swoosh here on the medial side. You will find that because this is a MercurialX Proximo, it does have the added texturing here in this black sandpaper-like material. That's there for mainly durability reasons, just to give you that extra layer of reinforcement in the high wear zone. But it's actually hidden quite well on this particular shoe because of the graphic. So that's a visual difference between the two models, but again, not something that is too big of a thing in my opinion. You can see across the back it does say MercurialX as opposed to just the standard Mercurial branding you'd find on the regular Superfly 4. So that's a difference. And then of course the entire bottom of the shoe is completely different. It features a black midsole, and then the outsole, while it looks kind of black online, is actually a translucent black in person. So obviously you can't really see through it because it is such a dark color, but it does have that kind of translucent effect up close with an orange Nike swoosh right there in the midfoot. And then of course the insole, that's removable. It features an orange mesh liner, and then of course it does say created to the exact specifications of Cristiano Ronaldo. You have a bunch of zeros and then a 9, letting you know that this is his 9th signature colorway that is of course a general release. He's had more signature colorways in this, but this is the 9th one that, like I said, has been released as an entire line, not just one limited edition individual shoe. So that's pretty much it in terms of the colorway itself. Let me know what you guys think of it down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the MercurialX Proximo is a very, very good shoe. If you want an indoor version of the Superfly, that's essentially what this is. Now, speaking of the indoor version of the Superfly, this of course does feature the indoor bottom, which is the only version of this shoe they made in this particular colorway. Normally with the MercurialX Proximo or Proximo Street models, they're offered in indoor and turf variations. This particular colorway though, for whatever reason, was only available with an indoor bottom. So just keep that in mind if you were planning on getting a pair of these. As far as the upper is concerned, it's taken pretty much straight off of Superfly 4. The only difference you're gonna find is one, the added texturing here on the medial side of the shoe that honestly doesn't impact the overall feel very much at all, and the lack of ACC all conditions control. Because it's an indoor model, you're unlikely to need that kind of a feature. And again, it's not something that is going to make or break your experience with this shoe whatsoever. So you have a Flyknit construction, more structured Flyknit going around the area of the upper that is covered with that Nike skin layer that of course gives it its coloring and graphic. You have an internal support cage for obviously support, and then of course Brio cables that run from the base of the sole into the lacing system. So when you do tie the laces tight, it pulls on those cables and holds your foot in place really nicely, making for one of the most responsive sensations you can get from any indoor shoe, especially considering how low profile and close to the ground you sit in the MercurialX Proximo. The upper, very thin, of course, being that it is a thin kind of layer of Flyknit knitted material. So if you want that barefoot sensation, that's kind of what this is all about. Laces run through the middle, as you guys can see. Internal plastic heel counter, similar to what you're gonna find on the regular Superfly 4. And then of course you do have a mid-cut design, which unlike popular belief, it really doesn't offer any performance benefits. It's one, there to provide a certain type of look to the shoe, which is obviously one that is quite unique. And two, it gives the shoe a certain feel where the shoe kind of feels like it's extending from your leg onto your foot as opposed to something that's just being strapped to your foot. Beyond that, there's no ankle support here. There's not really much in the way of added protection here. It doesn't restrict mobility in any way at all. It's there, like I said, more as a visual thing and something that does slightly alter the overall feel of the shoe. On the inside, it does have a smooth synthetic leather liner like you'd find again on a regular Superfly 4. The insole is different than a regular pair of Superflies, being that this is an indoor model. It features a mesh liner on top, completely solid, no perforations at all. It's made from a thicker layer of this ortholite material that, in the grand scheme of things, honestly isn't all that thick. But this is what's going to be providing the majority of your underfoot cushioning, because there isn't much of a midsole with this particular shoe. You have Phylon foam running through the heel and part of the midfoot, whereas the forefoot area is pretty much just the straight up rubber and the cushioning you get from the insole. There's no plastic in the construction whatsoever, so you're very close to the ground, minimal amounts of padding, and very, very flexible as well. Like I said, there's no plastic in the construction of the outsole whatsoever. So if you like a lot of underfoot cushioning, this probably isn't the best indoor for you. As far as the indoor bottom is concerned, it features this hexagon layout that does work really, really well on indoor courts as far as grip is concerned, and on concrete or any kind of street soccer type of environment. The rubber is thick and rugged enough to where it actually does provide good traction and also holds up pretty well. It's also nice that they have this big, large kind of rubber lip running through the forefoot and toe box area that does add some bulk at the front of the shoe, something that you will notice as kind of a difference in feel coming from a regular Superfly to the indoor version, but it's kind of a necessary evil in this type of a shoe just to allow for maximum durability, I guess is the best way of putting it. It's not a deal breaker, but it is something that you will notice as a difference, like I said, coming from a regular pair of Superflies. But ultimately, the traction and durability of the outsole is very, very good as an indoor bottom. Like I said, you can use it on indoor courts as well as on concrete, asphalt, any kind of street soccer environment. It'll perform well and it'll hold up just as well too. So that's pretty much it in terms of performance and what you're getting here with the MercurialX Proximo. Again, if you want an indoor or turf version of the Superfly 4 at essentially half the price, this is what you want. The MercurialX Proximo is exactly that. In terms of weight, the MercurialX Proximo is definitely not as light as a standard pair of firm ground Superfly 4s, but you probably already expected that. We're going to weigh this pair for you today in real time though, just so we can see exactly what the weight is. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US, so we're going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.4 ounces, the equivalent of 239 grams. So keep in mind that a firm ground Superfly 4 in the same size and condition weighs in at about 7 ounces or so. So these weigh about 1.5 ounces more, which is noticeable both in hand as well as on feet. But I think that the feel of an outdoor shoe and the feel of an indoor shoe is very different altogether. Indoor shoes in general, just because they have to have a rubber outsole, that adds a significant amount of weight. And yes, while there are lighter indoor shoes out there technically, these still feel pretty light on your feet, very close to the ground, very locked in, very responsive. So again, if you're looking for that Superfly feel in the form of an indoor shoe, even though these weigh a little bit more than a regular pair of Superflies, the general sensation of actually wearing one is still there with this particular shoe. All right, so here is a look at the MercurialX Proximos on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes. And on my right foot, I have a pair of black speckled Sunlight Shimmer SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You'll find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they feel, for the most part, like a regular pair of Superfly 4s, but obviously the base of the shoe is a little bit different in that it's not a carbon fiber sole plate, it's some foam and a lot of rubber. So it's very flexible from right out of the box, although there is some noticeable stiffness from the upper, given that they are brand new. They soften up significantly after an hour or so of wear time, so just keep that in mind. And just like all the other mid-cut models from Nike, if you haven't worn one before, they take some getting used to, so I strongly recommend just breaking them in really slowly to avoid any kind of discomfort. But if you have worn a mid-cut shoe from Nike, this is going to feel pretty much the same in terms of the fit in the heel area. As far as the shape of the shoe is concerned, it has a very similar shape to that of a regular Superfly 4, so it's a tighter fitting shoe, doesn't really stretch after break-in time, so the way it fits from right out of the box is for the most part the way it's going to fit for its entire lifespan. So if you have really wide feet and generally require your shoes to stretch in order to fit you comfortably, this is definitely not a good option for you, so just keep that in mind. It has pretty much the same slender profile as the rest of the Mercurial lineup. As far as underfoot cushioning is concerned, there's not much of it. You're pretty much sitting directly on top of the ground. So again, if you're looking for a lot of impact protection, these are not for you. But if you want to be close to the ground, very low profile, and just have a nice kind of close, stable sensation, that's kind of what these things are all about. Not to mention that, like I said, they are quite flexible because there is no plastic or really foam within the actual outsole itself. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the CR7 Savage Beauty Nike MercurialX Proximo Indoors. Again, if you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find the high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself. That'll give you a better idea as to how they actually do look in person. And you'll also find buy it now links as long as these things are still available. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the MercurialX Proximo, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.